Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session of Tourism Education Development Southeast Asia's Perspectives. I am Assistant Professor Dr. Anrisa Sangchamnong. And here right now we have two sessions here. Dr. Pram Honglong with me. Welcome to ICRTH 2022. So good morning, everyone. Our session today, we will have three speakers. Today we are going to to get to know about the tourism education developments in Southeast Asia. That is East Asia perspectives. So I will start by the first sessions of our topic today. Our topic today, we will start by tourism education prospects, challenges, and opportunities that we have Dr. Lilibeth Aragon with us. Dr. Lilibeth or Dr. Beth is currently the Dean of the Liaisons of the Philippine University Manila College of International Tourism and Hospitality Management. Welcome, Dr. Lilibeth. The floor is yours right now.
Thank you so much, Professor Risa, and I'm very pleased to be part of ICRTH 2022. So once again, thank you very much for this opportunity to share something about tourism education development in Southeast Asian perspective. And specifically, I'll be dealing on with the discussion about tourism education, its prospect, challenges, and opportunities. So I am from the Philippines, from the Lyceum of the Philippines University Manila's College of International Tourism and Hospitality Management. And the scope of the presentation would be first on the global tourism and hospitality business, the changing academic behavior, the academic shifts, the university of the future, the updates and strategies for recovery. Of course, we are looking at reality. And reality bites indeed, because during the past couple of years, we saw that there are a number of higher educational institutions handling hospitality and tourism courses wherein they were able to experience these predicaments, starting with unpreparedness of some educational systems, weak educational infrastructure, inequality in accessing the internet, and of course, unpreparedness to switch to remote learning. Now, these are the conditions, premeditating conditions that we have experienced for the last 2 years. And on to what's happening right now, our goal is to seize opportunities to make education more inclusive, effective, and resilient than it was before the crisis. Needless to say, we are tackling on coping, managing continuity, and of course, improving and accelerating our educational system. So in terms of coping, we have to ensure that while schools are still closed for some of the countries and system, we have to learn how to adapt and promote other alternatives for learning, at the same time protecting the health and safety and nutrition of our learners. In terms of managing continuity, we need to focus more on the different reopenings strategies, and of course, trying to ensure that teachers assess and close the gaps that we have experienced for the rest of the pandemic. And of course, in terms of improving and accelerating, so strategies are, of course, centered on scaling up the different responses in terms of creating and building back better education and systems. And so what have we learned? So far, we have learned that there's an opportunity to address long-standing disparities in access and participation. So according to studies, at least 460 million students were cut off from remote learning. So these are actually realities that we have to face. And we have to make our educational system reachable. We have to make it inclusive. And all the stakeholders should carry on with the different action plans for us to be able to offset these particular gaps. We have outlined that there are challenges in terms of connectivity, access, digital literacy, and this affects the work-ready skills of tourism and hospitality professionals. Having said that, okay, we were able to look into how we can adopt and connect, and to make sure that aside from computer literacy, there's a high level of adaptability, and we were able to glean also the time management is important, and for a lot of people, motivation is a struggle. In terms of what we can do Okay, as an institution, we have to ensure to integrate quality contents in all our learning platforms. We have to improve our communication system, feedback, visibility, and we have to also take a look on how the teachers are delivering work at the same time, how teaching is affected by the different styles that we have because we have a new platform wherein we have to follow. In terms of practicality, we took a look at assessment concerns, communications, counseling. These are the challenges in terms of motivation because a lot of students and learners are doing procrastination, teachers are on heavy workload, there's isolation and learning, and because of the different learning styles, we have to ensure that we keep afloat our objective and our goal in terms of still delivering high quality of instruction in tourism and hospitality. We have also learned that there's an opportunity to reframe the right to education. And so what does it mean? The right to education must be seen more broadly beyond the education sector silos. The right to education specifically, the right to connectivity, to information, the right to privacy, and at the same time, protection of valued data. We have learned also that we need to rethink learning, how we learn, where we learn, because as an educational system, we have learned that continuity of study can be ensured remotely, of course, thanks to technological platforms. We were not able to be hampered by the pandemic. We have also learned that distance learning can be more differentiated and personalized, and at the same time, students can develop greater autonomy as well as time management and self-organizational skills. We have learned that remote home-based study requires self-discipline and time management. And so the sudden shift to distance learning has also allowed for greater familiarity with acceptance of digital and learning tools. Most importantly, we learned that technologies, although it's very convenient to use technology and it's our ally, so to speak, we've learned that technologies cannot replace the experience of being in school with face-to-face communication and human interaction. We were also reminded that there is important learning that happens in schools with others through different extracurricular activities, and that there's so much more to learning than curriculum-based study, which cannot be delivered remotely. As we say, technologies can't replace the teacher who remains central to the educational process. So this strengthens the role of educators in our tourism and hospitality system. Learning as a human experience is rooted in social interaction and processes. And we need to agree with that with tourism and hospitality. And so the bigger questions would be, how do we cope with this crisis now? What opportunities does this crisis create? And what can be done to anticipate crises in the future and prepare for them? And how do we remain competitive post-pandemic? So these are actually big questions. But when will COVID-19 end? We cannot wait until it ends. If you listen to different accounts, they have different projections, whether it already ended or whether when this would stop. But this is a realization that we cannot wait until it ends. And so our educational system has to move on and has to progress, has to pivot, and we have to show our resiliency. And so what are we doing right now? We're utilizing a lot of collaborative tools, making better teams in all the educational institutions that we have. So currently, we are used to different webinar platforms, and this facilitates communication and engagement within and among our systems, regionally, within universities, across different regions, across different countries, and globally. And so we need to also redefine the role of educators. Our teachers are actually a very strong force in the delivery of our instructions and assessment. We have to ensure that the role of educators would be geared towards resilience, flexibility and adaptability, emotional intelligence, espousing or promoting continuous learning, entrepreneurial skills, and at the same time, integrating creativity and critical learning. It's not just appearing in front of the class, but we have to teach our learners a lot of soft skills and strategies so that they can adapt in a changing and a more complicated workplace and a more complicated life ahead when they exit our institutions. As an institution, it is also one way for us to look at the different life skills as we build back better, teaching it in the simpler manner, because there are a lot of times when we try to complicate things in our delivery of instructions, but the basic things that we're trying to neglect. I think this is a realization that we have to teach life skills as it is being integrated in all the different technical skills that we are teaching our students. So for example, the importance of travel, how to communicate and negotiate well, how to bounce back, or the art of failing, because it's not always, walk in the park when you try to decide on a career with tourism and hospitality, how to build a career of their own, how to take care of their finances, and how to network with purpose. So these are some of the things that is actually part of the 21st century skills that we have to integrate in our systems. And of course, we have to realize that in present day schools, we are catering to Gen Z. The children aged 6 to 18 years old, Gen Zers have not seen the world without technology. And so all of us, all the systems that we have in our respective institution should be able to take into consideration this particular group. And so we have to learn and keep on learning that so that we can ride the waves of change, and ultimately we will be able to collaborate in this in the students integrating technology, because we would like to confidently utilize all of this in our midst as teachers. Specifically, there are 10 actions on which countries can take decisions to recover and accelerate learning. So the first one is to assess learning loss and monitor progress. Second is to provide remedial education and social-emotional support to help students catch up and ensure school retention. We also need to restructure the academic calendar, especially for Asian countries, to adjust for lost school days due to the pandemic. We have to take a look at our curricula to prioritize foundational learning, and at the same time prepare and support teachers so that we can manage burnout, improve digital skills, identify the need to support and adjust instructions to meet all the requirements of the industry. We also need to be able to prepare and support school management to develop and implement plans that ensure health and safety, communicate continuously with the different stakeholders so that we can build ownership and support from parents, teachers, school staff, our broader community for the reopening plans of our respective schools, to encourage re-enrollment, and at the same time minimize the risk of dropout population and minimize disease transmission in schools. Having said this, we need to be able to frame and reframe our teaching and learning strategies. This is another opportunity for us to create, to care, to be more consistent, to be more conscious, and to continuously communicate and collaborate with the different stakeholders that we have. And so these are some of the relevant themes from where we can actually angle teaching and learning strategies that we have in various higher educational institutions, specifically concerned with tourism and hospitality. And that is, of course, framing learning objectives, keeping core structure simple, organizing content logically, assessing knowledge, creating engaging activities, ensuring high level of interaction and engagement, being realistic in terms of creating realistic scenarios, case studies, which is very helpful, incorporating problem learning situations in schools, and developing sound assessment tools. Way forward, we have to capitalize on information technology. As I said, it is our ally, provided we know how to use it properly. It is also very important to provide vocational training for teachers and enhance their capacities. Review assessment methods and tools that we used to practice pre-pandemic. We also need to engage in a comprehensive digital transformation. And at the same time, this is very important, we have to review all educational philosophies as well as the goals and outputs of the educational system to be in line with recent developments as well as with the needs of the labor market requirements. Experimentation is the new planning. I want to be very grounded on this one because we have no idea what's going to happen or whether a new crisis will threaten us. That's why we need to build our academic institutions into an engine of possibility. Technology is our ally. It's always on our side. However, this too can be chaotic if not learned properly. It affects every industry in ways that are difficult to anticipate. And so what is needed is an evolving portfolio of strategic experiments, emergent strategy as an organic approach to growth and sustainability built on ongoing culture of adaptability and agility. And so we have to chart our own roadmap as an institution. in terms of profiling and strengthening the capacity of teachers, instead in terms of creating platforms for student and faculty feedback, providing support for students and faculty, and strongly engaging with industry, government, and other institutions here and abroad. It's very important for us to collaborate and at the same time talk to all our stakeholders. Communication and trust is the currency post-pandemic, and we need to be able to practice it very strongly if you would like to not just survive, but to thrive as an educational system. And so what can we expect? The new normal is going to be centered on adaptability, flexibility, and resilience. We have to be able to espouse lifelong learning to all our learners and to all our faculty members. And at the same time, we expect that collaboration is going to be more important, ever important than before, a lot better than how we try to compete with our counterparts in the different schools, in the different countries. Collaboration is the key so that we can address all the educational challenges and all the social inadequacies, and at the same time, all the things that we would like to envision as an institution would happen because of collaboration. On a more broader perspective, what can we expect? Of course, education in tourism and hospitality will be borderless. In saying that there's going to be borderless, we have to be open in terms of tailoring, redefining, bending the rules, strengthening and building authenticity, exceeding expectation, and creating custom comfort for the things that are very important for our students, for our learners, and for our different stakeholders. As much as we highlight all the challenges, there are a lot of opportunities to connect, to reconnect, and build lifetime relationships, because the world is getting smaller, and as it gets smaller, we're trying to connect even more so that we can adapt to better practices and at the same time show also the best practices that we have in our respective institutions. And so once again, maraming salamat. Thank you very much for listening. At your service, my name is Dr. Beth Aragon from the College of International Tourism and Hospitality Management at the Lyceum of the Philippines, University, Manila. Mabuhay.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Lilibeth Aragon. Yes, this is very interesting idea. Yes, now you can see that how the trend shape us and how can we adjust this idea to our work in educational areas, how to produce our students, how to provide them as good as we can to suitable for industry for the future. So these sessions will be very nice to share, very nice to learn the sharing from Professor Dr. Palagutan Silitongas. Yes, he is a doctorate degree. He is doctor in management and business from IPB universities. His master degree from Management Philippines School of Business Administration and Institute Vinis Nusantara. Yes, and bachelor about law. The floor is yours right now, Pasil.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Riza. Thank you to the committee for inviting me to this session. I'm really glad to participate in this session. Again, may I introduce you? My name is Parlagotan Selitongar. You may call me Pak Sil. Yes, already informed by Riza, I am the lecturer and also the chairman of Akademi Pariwisata Indonesia and Stein College. Ladies and gentlemen, may I show you a little bit the activities of my students at campus. This is the next.
Ini belum matang. Tinggal tuang itu aja. Ini dia buat aku. Thank you Bang. Penggalan. Kita nih lagi latihan daging.
Yes, good taste if you come to Jakarta later. These are the scope of my presentation from background, focus of topic, the problem, root of the problem, discussion, solution, and suggestion. When Dr. Beth already expressed the general and holistic aspect of the tourism education, I will focus on lecturer. So I hope this will be complement each other. The background, tourism higher education, widely known as vocational-based study. When the lecturer and professional are professional in the hospitality industry. Secondly, lecturer career and accreditation requirement and process are treated similar with academic higher education. Based on that professionalism, most of lecturers in vocational college with competency-based education are weak, lack in research. When it comes to their daily jobs at workplace, no matter how hectic and how big number of guests, they do it in fun and delight to follow their SOP, and no matter how delicate the tasks are. Due to those handicaps, most of lecturers delay their academic career. Even they wanna give it up. Unfortunately, there is no point of return. No way to put aside and avoiding the law, rules, and regulation. The higher education, all lecturers are subject to learning plan and delivery, research, social responsibility, and continual learning by training and study. The so-called in Indonesia Tridharma. In the meantime, the career of lecturers are the mandatory requirement to accelerate the institution accreditation status. So this is the focus of my presentation, how to accelerate the career development symmetric with institution accreditation status in accordance with the law and regulations. A case study, of course, in Indonesia, maybe the same in other countries too. So this is the problem in the vocational lecturer in general. Number one, how to fulfill learning plan, delivery, evaluation, and research and other things at the same time. And secondly, how to accelerate lecturer career development in a way to upgrade institution accreditation. So we find out that the root of the problems, having researched this case, this is the result. Number one, lecturer spend most of the time in learning delivery due to competency based by theory and practice. Hands-on delivery in training and education is applied in compliance with ASEAN standards. It is therefore the KPI are not so strong and limited in research. Number two, lecturers shall publish their research in a reputed journal, such as by Emerald, Elsevier, and Taylor and Francis, etc. However, research skills and fun are limited. I hope it is not only in Indonesia, but maybe in many countries in ASEAN. Number three, accreditation status of the tourism higher education depends on lecturer performance. The KPI are reputed journal and career development. In this case, lecturers are really the prime mover to the institution. So this is, we have to discuss in this discussion, if lecturer doing research by his or her own self, the result might end with careerless, nowhere, years by years, nowhere, because it's so hard. If management do not support them to find a possible solution, the institution remain in fair status of accreditation forever. Being the prime mover, the management of THE has to take up the appropriate strategy, and it should be symmetric goals between the lecturers and the institution itself. In doing so, both parties will be happy. No grieving. The lecturers in Indonesia has to follow all the rules, so many rules. The national law, government regulation, ministry education regulation. And this is the newest decision of Director General of Higher Education, number 12, in the year of 22, provide the guidelines, and these guidelines is irrevocable, neither procrastinated to delay since April this year, 2022, and beyond, of course. We have to plan and report it accordingly. So having the roadmap of the lecturer, this is the roadmap of the lecturer. Number one, he or she has to be registered as a lecturer with master degree. So diploma 3, for instance, or the experience for 20 years is not regarded as a lecturer. So 1 year later, he or she will be eligible to propose as assistant lecturer with 100 credits, where requirements are master diploma and 1 journal, national with ISSN. And number 3 years later, may propose to assistant professor with 200 credits. Requirement, 1 book by his or joint writing, and 1 reputed journal at least. 3 years later, may eligible to propose associate professor with 400 to 500 credits requirement, 1 textbook, 1 intellectual property right, and 3 reputed journal. So the last one, 3 years later may propose to a professorship level with 850 minimum up to 1,000 credits. Requirement, doctor degree. So Lenny now is taking doctor degree. 3 to 5 reputed journal, minimum Q2, 1 book, and 1 intellectual property right. While the roadmap of the tourism higher education from fair to excellent, first, fair status. This is given when one university or college or academy started to do the business. And afterward, 2 or 3 years later, can propose to good status, but they need to have associate professor, at least 1 for every program. And how to get to excellent accreditation status? We need 5 associate professor and 1 professor if any, but not mandatory. So in this case, it is really clear that lecturers are the prime mover to an institution. Solutions. What are the possible support to work them out? Number 1, build internal collaboration among the lecturers to conduct joint research. Invite experts to train the lecturers to upgrade their skills in research. Induce non-educator a supporting team in facilities within the campus, references, and related to help lecturer to find references and to process data without neglecting their own activities in learning plan and delivery. 4, while the third duty to conduct social responsibility, it may help in a certain agenda by management in collaboration with local residents around the campus and rural tourist areas. 5, strategic plan for lecturer and institution should be done as one package. I propose to have the root of the theory, goal setting theory, to set up the challenging, measurable, and timeable. This is, we recommend to apply to both management and lecturers, aiming to obtain a faster development of the lecturer. This scheme encouraging the management of tourism higher education to collaborate and push their capability to support lecturers pursuing their career development in a way to support, to accelerate the status of accreditation as the symmetric goals between them. Suggestion, internal collaboration is needed, such as 1, collaboration among lecturers in joint research, 2, collaboration with librarians in preparing data and relevant references. 3, collaboration with the similar other institution, other college at national level and ASEAN level, of course. So thank you for this opportunity. Terima kasih. I hope this presentation will contribute to this forum. Top Kunkap, Salamat, Kamon Ban. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Gutan Silitonga. It's very interesting topic because in the case of Vietnam, we are also facing up with the lecturer career development. By the time how to raise up the university status. And it's my great honor to listen to your presentation. I think with the focusing topic, the problem and the root of problem, and also the discussion solution you've given now for us, and we may learn a lot of lessons from the case of Indonesia. Thank you. Back to Risa, Dr. Risa. Thank you once again, Professor Silitonga.
Thank you very much, Paxius, and thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Yes, this is very nice sessions that we learn from Prof. Seals, and qualities of human resource can confirm how quality of the student can be. So university have to practice a lot how to improve the quality of human resource as well. And next topic is very important as well, that we have to understand and how to enhancing hospitality and tourism education through collaborative partnership. That is another part that we can't deny, and we have to focus how to make a collaborative. And right now we have the honor from Assistant Professor Christopher Wang Sa-Keng. He is currently the acting dean of Faculty of Hospitality and Tourism Management, UCSI University Sarawak Campus, Malaysia, and resident managers of UCSI Hotel Kuching Sarawak. Let's welcome Assistant Professor Christopher. Hello, Christopher. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you. A very pleasant day, everyone. So thanks, Dr. Risa and also Dr. Palm for the introduction, and the committee members as well for inviting myself to be part of this particular session. So basically, I'm here to share my view on how we, educational provider, could enhance our hospitality and also tourism education through collaborative partnership, in which intercorrelated in what Prof. Bet and also Pak Sil earlier presentation. Next slide, please. So hospitality and also tourism education is vital in order to ensure the industry obtain a quality and highly competent workforce, in order for us to support its operation and ensuring the sustainability of the industry. So therefore, this could be visible if all respective stakeholders work together and create a strong bonding of collaborative partnership. So there are various programs at colleges and universities across the globe. They are now providing and delivering under the umbrella of hospitality and tourism education, right? The main purpose of the, to establishing of this program is generally to prepare learner for a career in the industry upon graduation, in which fits for the industry requirements and where the value of critical thinking, also emotional intelligence is embedded. So based on historical fact, the hospitality programs was not available in education line till the year 2022, in which back then Cornell University was the first one to offer such programs. And based on Malaysian context as well, Malaysian hospitality education was only introduced in the year of 1967. So in the earlier stage of introduction of hospitality also education in Malaysia, it had a very strong vocational focus, in which the German dual systems were emphasized more towards apprenticeships, vocational education, and was also adopted as well during this particular time. So to date, hospitality and also tourism education program has been offered in various levels of education at various education platforms, for example, like polytechnics, college, and also university. So in Malaysia context itself, the hospitality and also tourism industry have grown throughout time, in which contribute to an exceptional demand for hospitality service. And of course, reflecting to this, as the industry continues to expand, so does the demand for competent and also trained workforce. So thus, responding to the needs of the industry, Malaysian hospitality and also tourism education have developed in various form and direction depending on where the program are housed. With this, it's safe to proclaim that the disciplines of hospitality and tourism programs are highly fragmented and also multifaceted to a certain extent to tailor the suits the needs of the industry. So hospitality and also tourism education is different in terms of its teaching and learning nature, because compared to other programs such as business, engineering, or any social science related programs, is totally different, right? For hospitality and also tourism education is closely related towards commercial service, which emphasize on practical experience. In other words, hospitality related programs mostly cultivate experiential learning in the modes of program delivery, countless wherever they are. Right, traditional classroom, of course, could be considered as a normal norm for such program, as it requires students to put theory into practice. So this could be reflected towards courses, for example, like food and beverage service, culinary art related courses, housekeeping, front office, and etc., in which require experiential hands-on laboratory taught in face-to-face. So furthermore, out of classroom activities, internship, exchange program, field work, and service learning experience are also included into experiential learning methods as well. Therefore, it clearly shows that experiential learning is vital for such program, as it offers multi-dimension function to enrich students' learning experience. Right, next slide, please. All right, for the development of hospitality and also tourism education, it involves various parties to ensure the respective programs constructed are relevant and also appropriate for the industry. So as you may see through the diagram here, upon constructing any relevant programs, the external factors have to be taken into consideration, which involve the aspect of politics, economic, environmental issues, technological, social, cultural environment, and also demographic. With that, then we'll be able to zoom in into the development of program where we could consider the industry needs and the requirement by the Ministry of Higher Education of respective country to be embedded into the program. So through that, effective and also relevant program could be developed and be sustainable for the needs of the industry. Right, next slides. All right, if we talk about collaborative partnership, it is some sort of agreement of action made by consenting stakeholder, where it mainly to strive to share their resources, knowledge, and skill in order to accomplish a mutual goal, right? In which ultimately goal is actually to offer high quality hospitality and tourism education. In other words, collaborative partnership allowed organizations to draw at each other's strength and also grow the business together quickly and also efficiently. right? This sort of the ability to leverage partner resources, subject matter expertise, and also innovative is actually a competitive advantage for everyone to grasp. With the presence of strong collaborative partnership among all relevant agents, we could definitely leverage on each other's strength and expertise to enhance our hospitality and tourism education. Next slide. So in education partnership, there are 4 important agents that are vital to ensure the productivity of the partnership to take place. The 4 agents are comprises of course, the learner itself, industry stakeholders, government agency, and also fellow academician. So what are the main role of each agents that has been mentioned earlier on, and how they could play their parts for enhancing hospitality and also tourism education? Let's look into for instance, industry stakeholder. There are few areas that agents could, these particular agents could play their parts to ensure collaborative partnership take place. For example, through students' engagement, right? So it is essential for industry stakeholder to engage with learner from very beginning, as through such engagement, it will enable fellow learners to be attracted and also attached with the industry and give them the deeper understanding towards the industry as a whole. Right, so this could be done through giving the learner the opportunity through internship, assignment-based and kind of exposure, job stimulation experience, and whatsoever nots that the industry would like to engage with. So therefore, upon graduating, all these fellow students will be able to acquire the necessary skills and also knowledge required by the industry. All right. So in other point, industry stakeholder as well shall engage and actively participate in the higher education provider review and revamp process of each of the respective program. So upon aligning of the content of each respective program, it is vital to ensure that the academician understand the issues and the latest trends of the industry. So with that, this is where the industry stakeholders' input are essential, as they are the one who understand the industry in terms of the latest trend, challenges, and of course, the areas that require for improvement for the industry. Right, in terms of academic perspective, this is the agent is also very, very vital, as they are the backbone of the education pillars through teaching and learning process, and also research as well. One of the approach that could be united for collaboration partnership is through collaboration or collaborative engagement with other higher education provider nationally or internationally through sharing its available skills, knowledge, and resources, as well as with that, we'll be able then to conceptualize the best practice for running hospitality and tourism education. And of course, through such engagement as well, we will be able to constantly improve, where towards the end of the day benefit learner as a whole. That's the main objective. And furthermore, collaborative partnership among academicians in the aspect of research is essential as well, as through research activity, it would increase the level of comprehends the issue in both industry and also academic perspective, right? Through the facts and data, it will enable the industry as well to refer to the theoretical solutions to mitigate the arising issues and solve it accordingly. And therefore, constant improvement could be achieved where this could be translated into robust and dynamic program quality. And in terms of government agency, right, government essentially carry 3 main functions among others, right? The 3 main function are function of distribution, allocation, and also stabilization, right? So allocation function is actually the role of government to allocate resources in order to create an efficient economy. And the distribution function is actually the role of government in influencing the distribution of income and wealth to ensure justice or a fair setting of income distribution. And of course, stabilization function refer to government action in influencing the overall level of unemployment, economics, and growth, and also the price of daily life. Right? With the involvement of government agency within the collaborative partnership, it will actually enhance the synergy among all of these agents. And this could only be through funding allocation for a project, for research activities, especially for the hospitality and also tourism stakeholders, or injection of budget for the industry to enhance the sensibility of the industry. With constant support from the government's agency, it is easier for each of the agents to connect and collaborate, as through their support, networking will be much more easy and organized. And of course, The last agent is the learner, where learner is the central point of collaborative partnership, as they are the end user of the whole system. All right, so collaborative partnership shall be evolved together with learner, right? Through a strong engagement of the learner with all their collaborative partnership, the final result will be definitely be prevailed. All right, so with tremendous support given, learner will be able to translate their knowledge and skills into quality and sustainable workforce, which at the end of the day, we give high impact towards hospitality and tourism industry. All right, next slide, please. All right, for all the partnership from respective agency, there are various benefits that we could gain. For instance, development of higher level thinking or communication, self-management, also leadership skills among all stakeholders, upskilling and also reskilling competency, where through continuous effort to ensure the workforce are equipped and be prepared with the right knowledge and skill for the industry. And of course, promotion of transnational education, where we focus on students and academic interaction, where at the end of the day, it would translate into increase of competent workforce in the field of hospitality and also tourism industry. And of course, increase in self-esteem, responsibility, where through all this partnership, we will actually nurture as a global citizenship in the field of hospitality and also tourism industry, exposed to and to increase in understanding of diverse perspective in the field of aspect of hospitality and also tourism, preparation of real life social and also employment situation, in which with this kind of engagement, it actually prepare the future generation to be prepared and to foresee what's going to happen and what sort of contribution that they can give towards the industry, to maintain the best practice of hospitality and also tourism education for sustainability of the industry ecosystem. And of course, to capitalize each other's strength and resources, where each stakeholder could hop on and share the expertise that one doesn't have in the respective organization. Next slide. So of course, we benefit, there is challenges. Next slide, please. All right, so challenges in terms of time consuming, in terms of doing all this coordination, rapport building, and so on. Right? Of course, when we start some sort of collaborative partnership with any organization, it will take time to coordinate and to build rapport among all these stakeholders. Right? Of course, due to the diverse also dynamic of each organization, it will definitely require continuous engagement to establish mutual understanding among all parties. So with that being said, we definitely will not be able to start up collaborative partnership or effective collaborative partnership just one meeting or twice a month kind of meeting. It have to be constantly engaged. All right, next slide, please. And of course, yeah, next slide. And of course, maintenance of the collaborative partnership momentum. Once we go into the stage of collaborative partnership, to maintain it will be another story. Right, to maintain the partnership is another hurdle, only once the rapport has been established. And to maintain constant engagement have to be present among all respective stakeholders, because if you just one commitment from one organization, it won't work. Where with this, all of the stakeholders have to work together and also show the commitment in order for us to have effective collaborative partnership. Therefore, commitment have to be present in order to move forward for this kind of collaborative partnership. Next slide. And of course, conflict of interest, right? So of course, conflict of interest could be reflected towards institution to institution, where higher education providers compete among each other, where they have different belief and different view. And of course, difficulty of working with a diverse set of organization. And of course, due to interest and also direction of each education provider, it might, in a way, clashes in terms of the organization interest and also business as well, because some is from private entities. Of course, we talk about money, Tencent, competitors and whatever, but if it is public, it's totally different perspective. Therefore, it will also create the reluctancy to collaborate among each other. So these are the areas that we have to really put aside and see how we can work together to meet the mutual goal. All right. So next one will be, next slide, please. Personalities. All right. So different personalities may affect the collaboration as well. Of course, with higher percentage of dominant individual or dominant organization in the partnership, it will stir the collaboration objective towards their own ideas, wants, and need, in which at the end of the day, they want only to benefit themselves. So this will create, of course, we create some sort of unfairness or unsatisfaction among the collaborative or also present partners. So therefore, it will, of course, shaken up the partnership, in which leads towards unproductive collaboration. So with that, I will end my presentation. All right. So thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate your time. All right. So have a good day and pleasant day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Christopher Wang. And throughout your presentation, we learned about the history of the tourism and hospitality development in Malaysia. Actually, I studied in Malaysia before as well in UUM from 2004 to, until 2006. So I myself know about the tourism education in Malaysia, but here we have other people coming from different countries, so we learn from you. Back to Risa.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wong. And yes, again, from my side, thank you very much for all of my honored speakers today, for your times and all of information that sharing to our session today. And this session, the session recordings will be made available at worldwideweb.responsible/ICRTH 2022 programs. You can follow by this link, and its certificates of attendance will be issued to delegates who complete a post-conference survey. Please find the survey at worldwideweb.responsibleboneo.com/ICRTH 2022, and the survey will be closed after 1 week. For more information about ICRTH 2022 and other conference sessions, please visit worldwideweb.responsibleboneo.com/ICRTH 2022 programs. And for any queries about ICRTH 2022, please feel free to contact us via ICRTH 2022 at responsibleboneo.com. Thank you very much.